I'm delighted to hear what's Sheldon Whitehouse. Sheldon is an extraordinary leader, particularly when it comes to issues of health care. He serves on the Health Committee of the Senate, and every day he's in the trenches, literally, making sure that we protect the health and welfare of the people of Rhode Island. So thanks, Sheldon. We're here because, like many Americans, we're just stunned that the House Republicans could vote yesterday along strict party lines for a tax plan that would leave our seniors and working families vulnerable to illness and vulnerable to the economic consequences of that illness. The Republican tax bill actually raises taxes on working families. It slashes benefits for seniors and others with high medical expenses, cuts billions from Medicare, which is central to every family in this country, not just the seniors, but their sons and daughters. It's central to our country. It would, if some versions, particularly the Senate version, passed, throw 13 million Americans off their health care insurance. They couldn't afford it. And it would do that just to provide massive tax breaks to the wealthiest Americans. That's not fair. It's not good policy either. Reuters, the news service, points out, and I'll quote, U.S. Republican lawmakers want to cut taxes for corporations and wealthy people by $1.3 trillion. And they seem to want seniors to foot a good chunk of the bill. Their 2018 budget plan would chop $473 billion out of Medicare and $1.3 trillion from Medicaid. Those cuts are devastating. But the House plan also calls for the elimination of the itemized deduction for high medical expenses. It is a combination that will actually spell not only poor health care, but economic ruin for millions and millions of Americans. As Jim pointed out, when you eliminate the deduction for medical expenses, it will have a devastating effect. 8.8 million Americans annually qualify for this deduction. Here in Rhode Island, it's 26,000 taxpayers. And those 26,000 taxpayers will be dealt a very serious blow if this goes through. It means the seniors with serious illnesses, disabilities, will lose critical assistance. They will have to forego expensive treatments because they literally won't be able to afford it. Now, the Senate version is not any better at all. They're going after the Affordable Care Act again. They want Trump care. They want to eliminate the mandate to buy insurance. That's going to drive up premiums for everyone. It's going to take away insurance for 13 million Americans. It is going to create a situation that is devastating. Now, there is a possibility that they will accept both of these proposals in their final bill between the House and the Senate. So you will not only lose access to health insurance, it will not only go up exponentially, you won't be able to take any relief on your taxes for it. And these problems are just the tip of the iceberg. This bill, both versions, will create $1.5 trillion in deficit, which will pass on to future generations. And it's going to cause a situation in which there will be automatic Medicare and Medicaid cuts in 2018. So they're telling you right now they're going to cut Medicare and Medicaid because the way the rules are built in the Senate and the House, you will get $25 billion in Medicare cuts in 2018, $25 billion, and $111 billion from other critical federal programs. That's what they're telling you. They're cutting Medicare, and they're doing it deliberately. They've already said they're going to go from this tax bill to entitlement reform. Means they're going to cut Medicare and Medicaid even more. And it affects seniors dramatically, but it affects every family in the state. If you are a mother and father and you have a child and that child gets a serious illness, if you can't get reasonable insurance, then the first thing that goes is the home. because you'll do anything to provide for your children. And when you've exhausted those resources, you'll dip into your savings. You dip into everything. And eventually, there'll be nothing left. And then you'll hope you can get into Medicaid, but oh, they're cutting that also. This is just a totally destructive piece of legislation. And it's all so that the wealthiest Americans can enjoy a tax break. That's not good economic policy. It's not fair. We're going to do all we can to stop it. And we're not alone. The Rhode Island Alliance for Retired Americans are with us. Americans Insurance Health Plans Association, they're with us. Blue Cross Blue Shield Association, they're with us. The American Medical Association is with us. And together we're going to do our best to stop this legislation and then sit down, we hope, with the Republicans on a bipartisan basis and make reforms to our tax code that will benefit working Americans, will benefit and invest in our families. The American people deserve that kind of legislation, not the legislation being proposed by the Senate Republicans and House Republicans.